Hasmathullah from G.K.Jain school. Today we are going to continue the third chapter, Theory of Employment and Income. Yesterday we have seen about the classical view of the economy, how the classical authors, various authors like A.Z.P.U, like J.S. Killis, all those authors, how they have scientifically proved and how they have seen the economy and the atmosphere of income and employment by their view. So we have seen the classical view. Now we are going to see the Kenny's view. J.M. Kenny's is one of the famous author who has criticized the classical theory and he has given his own theory. Let's see his. J.M. Kenny's theory is against the classical economics. So he is against all the classical theories because of the various reasons. And he says that employment theory is based on short run. All the classical theory, all the classical economics says that the theory of employment is of long term, it is of long nature. But J.M. Kenny says that no, it is of short run. He says that factors of production remain unchanged. All the classical economics has come across that the factors of production will get changed. When there is extra labor, the extra wages will be reduced. So there is a changes. But J.M. Kenny says that no, there is no changes in the matters of factors of production. Maybe a land, maybe a labor, maybe a capital, maybe a organization. So there is no change. So this view of criticism, this view of differentiation has made the J.M. Kenny one of the most modern author, one of the most modern economics who sees the economics in the different phenomena. Okay, he has given the economics with the effect of supply and demand. According to him, when there is effective demand in the business, when there is effective demand in the economy, you can see the proper utilization of employment. There will be effective employment. He says the money is spent on consumption of goods and service. So the effective demand means the money is spent on. Effective demand means the money is spent on the consumption of goods and services. So as a person, if I consume such goods and services which satisfy my need is known as effective demand. So when I ask for something and the thing has utilized and given me the extra satisfaction, the full satisfaction, that is known as effective. In a simple term, effective demands equal national income. And what happens when there is an effective demand? This will help in the national income. So if there is an effective demand, it will be the equal to the national income. It will indirectly build the national income and the national interest will also follow. It has the scientific formula. See, ED is equal to, effective demand is equal to Y, which is nothing but income. C, consumption plus income is equal to output is equal to employment. So ED is equal to, effective demand is equal to income is equal to C plus I, consumption plus income is equal to output and employment. So effective demand can be seen when there is a income is equal to output, output is equal to employment. So all this should be follows in the same together. When there is an employment, there will be an output. When there is an output, there will be an income. When there is an income, there can be an effective demand. So if you have the income, you will have the demand. If you have a demand, there will be a supply. If there is a supply, there will be a production. If there is a production, then the output will be very good. That's what the effective demand formula says all about. ED is equal to Y is equal to C plus I is equal to output is equal to input. In a simple way, they have given as ED is equal to output and output is equal to income and income is equal to employment. So now you can easily say that ED, which means effective demand is equal to output, output is equal to income and income is equal to employment. So this all together plays a vital role and this theories of employment and income becomes a vital and it helps the various others. The J.M. Kenny's other format is aggregate demand. He also advocates the aggregate demand. What is aggregate demand? The amount of money which the entrepreneur gets by selling the output produced. So when you are an entrepreneur, for example, I am the entrepreneur and when I sell my output, whatever I have produced, whatever I have manufactured, when I sell it and the money I get, that is what we call the aggregate income. Okay. So aggregate demand is the money I get from the selling of the output produced by the labor of employed. So I have the company, I have labor, when this labor manufactures some product, I sell the product, and when I get the money, that money is known as aggregate demand. When this happens, it is known as aggregate demand. Simple. See, you are a person, you are owning a company, and in a company worker is working. Okay, when worker is working, when they work and they produce some product, for example they are producing bag or they are producing any other kind of material, when you sell the product, that what we call aggregate demand. The selling of such product is known as aggregate demand. Okay, they have some of the component of aggregate demand. They are consumption demand. So this aggregate demand may be a consumption demand. So there will be demand of a thing that a person may be asking for, satisfy their demand. For example, they may be asking the rice, they may be asking the wheat or fruits, something that gives the inbuilt instant to the person. So consumption demands, something that the people wants to consume for themselves. Investment demand. Next one is investment demand, means something that has the issue with the capital. This capital investment you are doing, that one. Government expenditure and the government output as there in the business, and net export. The import and export volume, that is what we call as aggregate demand. So these aspects, consumption demand will take, investment demand will take, government expenditure will there, and net export will change, which form the equation of AD. Aggregate demand is equal to C, consumption I, investment G, government, and this is net export. So aggregate demand is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus X. Simple. AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. AD means aggregate demand, C means consumption demand, I means investment demand, G means government expenditure, X minus M is net export. So export minus import, whatever value you get, maybe a positive figure or negative figure, when you do it, you will have the aggregate demand. So now see, with the help of the diagram, we have took the X and Y axis. X we have took it as employment, and Y we have took it as aggregate demand. See, this aggregate demand goes in the up way and it seemingly falls. So aggregate demand will have the increasing way, at the end it will fall down. So why? Because there are various factors like land, labor, organization, capital. Because of this, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. So with the help of this diagram, you can easily say that aggregate demand goes up and slightly falls down. When there is an increase of price, there will be increase of aggregate demand. When there is a decrease of price, there will be a decrease of aggregate demand. Okay. Let's see Kenny's flow of chart. Kenny's flow of chart says that ED, which means effective demand, is equal to output. Output is equal to income. Income is equal to employment. And he has given the chart. He has explained the employment. So this Kenny's flow chart has divided into two aspects: aggregate supply function and aggregate demand function. In supply function, there is restrictive item that we'll see in the future classes. We have took up the aggregate demand that has been divided into two parts: consumption function and investment function. So the thing that a person take for their own consumption, for eating purpose, or satisfying the needs of the society, that is known as consumption function. Investment function, something that is investment for the future needs, for the future growth, that is what we call investment function. This consumption function divided into two parts: size of income. So based on the size of income, the person will consume. For example, I am having an income of 10,000, means I will ask the consumption of 10,000 only. I will not have a desire for 20,000. So when a person has an income of what size, that size only they will demand. They have the 1 lakh income, means they can demand for the 1 lakh of consumption. They can go for the lifestyle of 1 lakh. When the income is of 50,000, they can also go for the 1 lakh of consumption. So how much you earn, that much you can spend. That is what the size of income. So based on your income, the consumption will be decided. Next, proposition to consume, and how you want to consume, what kind of thing you want to consume, what has to be consumed, how to be consumed, all these factors will take place. In the investment, we have MEC, material exemption, consumption, and rate of interest. So these two aspects, no? Minimum efficiency consumption and rate of investment. So in the investment function, these two factors is there. How much minimum consumption taken and what kind of investment return will be taking place. So this all the factors. So this Kenny's flow of chart says about the various aggregate supply and aggregate demand, which deals with the various aspects of employment, which fulfill the various employment problem. In future class, we'll see the aggregate supply function and the equilibrium function. With this, the chapter will be. Thank you, students.